Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at another fragrance by the company Yeye Parfums. And this one is called Y.O.R.K No. 7, which I find to be an incredibly versatile and professional smelling fragrance. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the scent, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin with my review of Y.O.R.K No. 7 by Yeye Parfums, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what it smells like, so on and so forth, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like reviews, top 10s, and more, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Make sure to enable all notifications by clicking on the bell. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you like this type of content. Now, I actually reviewed another fragrance from this brand called Golden Aura. I'm going to leave a card to that up here. And that one is a bit more ambery and a bit more appropriate, I think, for the colder months. I think this one is good all year round. I can see people really enjoying this one in the spring and summer just because it has some very bright, energetic notes. You have mint and grapefruit. There's a touch of citrus in here. Now, the perfumer is Ernesto Bujanda, and this one came out in 2015. So it's been out now for a few years, and this is super elegant and professional, clean cut, refined, but I also find it to be fairly unisex. So in the heart, you have some floral ingredients, you have heliotrope, iris, and violet. And so I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, what it smells like, if I could compare it to anything else, also let you know how long it lasts and which notes really jump up off my skin and that I'm able to perceive. But let's go ahead and start things off with a quick look at the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you have this bright, energetic, and energizing citrus accord. Now, you have grapefruit in the opening, and it's not an overly tart grapefruit. When you think of fragrances like Tiger by Bulgari, that is a very bright sort of tart grapefruit. You get something a little cleaner and a bit more polished in this fragrance. And there's also ISOE Super and some smooth, musky ingredients working their way in the base that really produce this clean, elegant, and professional smelling aroma that I certainly enjoy. Now, in addition to the grapefruit that you get in the opening, you get a touch of mint in here, and I couldn't pick it up initially, but the more I played around with it and the more I smelled it and wore it, especially to work, I was able to pick up on that mint that's in here. And it's also very subtle, and so you're not going to get an overly loud citrus accord in the opening, overly loud mint. And I say that to suggest that there are some other ingredients in here that I think are a bit more prominent in terms of what you're going to perceive as soon as you spray it on. But the mint is certainly in here, and it's working its magic in the opening of the fragrance. Now, in terms of the mint that's used in here, it comes across smelling a bit more like a spearmint than a peppermint, if you can make that distinction in fragrances. And then in the heart, I'm also getting the heliotrope. Now, I think that's the star player of this fragrance, and it's not an assessment that I made initially, but rather something that I began to pick up on the more I played around with this fragrance and the more I had the opportunity to wear it in public and actually smell it throughout the day. Now, heliotrope is a floral ingredient that actually has almond-like tendencies. And I think the heliotrope in combination with the iris and the violet kind of reminded me of Infusion d'Amande by Prada. And I personally love the infusion fragrances from Prada. I have the Iris, the Vetiver, and I even had the original Infusion d'Homme. And of course, there's another fragrance by Trussardi, part of the La Vie di Milano collection called Aperitivo Milanese Porta Nuova. And that fragrance also smells like Infusion d'Amande. Now, while this is in the same family as Infusion d'Amande by Prada, I also find it to be quite different in the sense that This one has a bit of a sweeter tendency, and then you also have that bright, citrusy, elegant, and slightly minty opening. So it definitely stands out, and I would say the similarity is only about 50%. But as it dries down, you have that iso-y super and that clean, musky vibe. And I think the iris contributes to the cleanliness, the violet contributes to the professionalism. And so this is a very clean, elegant, professional type of a fragrance, and this is the type of DNA that I can see myself wearing to work every single day. Now, because I'm constantly testing and I'm preparing myself to review different fragrances, and I publish a video on my channel every single day, I tend to wear different fragrances all throughout the week. But if I didn't have that responsibility and that obligation, a fun obligation nonetheless, this is the type of fragrance that I could see myself wearing to work every single day, just because it's so refined, it's clean cut, and I can even see people getting complimented on this quite often, and it's perfectly unisex as well. So let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this fragrance to be pretty unique. I know I made a connection to the Trussardi fragrance and also the Prada fragrance, but at the end of the day, this fragrance possesses elements that really allow it to stand out. And I think the connection was made on account of only 2 ingredients, mainly the heliotrope, aka almond smell, but also the iris. But aside from that, everything else really creates a sense of uniqueness and originality, and I really enjoyed this fragrance for that reason. The mint, the violet just make it smell very professional. So the overall smell very appealing, definitely a compliment worthy type of a fragrance, and one that I can see myself wearing on a regular basis. People would call it a dumb reach type of a fragrance that doesn't require a lot of thought. It's just incredibly versatile, Swiss Army knife kind of a fragrance. Longevity on this fragrance was really good. I got about 8 hours on my skin, which is surprising considering the fact that there's, you know, the grapefruit and the mint and some more volatile ingredients, but you are going to get a lot of really special base heavy ingredients working their way in the dry down that I think prolong the duration of the fragrance and the life of the fragrance. So longevity is pretty good at about 8 hours. In terms of the projection, also very good for the first 1.5 to 2 hours of application. It will radiate within an arm's length, but it didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 7-hour mark, and then right around that 8 to 9 hour mark, it kind of disappears, but it does perform really well. If you're concerned about performance, do a few extra sprays on your shirt, and I think it's going to give you a few extra hours of longevity, or at the very least, you'll be able to smell it close to your person. Versatility on this one, excellent. Unisex composition. You can wear it dressed up, dressed down. I can see some people preferring to wear this one in the spring and summer, but if you're wearing it indoors in a climate controlled environment, you can really wear this one whenever you want. I can see this one being worn dressed up and dressed down, and I can see anybody of any age appreciating this one, although one might argue that on account of the floral tendencies, this might cater to the sensibilities of somebody who's a little bit older, but I think it's incredibly versatile. I can see somebody who's young wearing this one very comfortably as well. And then in terms of the presentation, I personally do enjoy the presentation of Yeye Parfums fragrances. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of the smell of almond, if you are a fan of iris, violet, and citrus with a touch of mint, please check this fragrance out. Very clean, elegant, and professional smelling. Perfect for the hotter weather, but if you're wearing it indoors, it will give you that professional aura that will suit you well all year round. Very versatile, and it can be worn very professionally as well in upscale scenarios, but it has a casual vibe to it too. So I really adore and admire the versatility of this fragrance. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Y.O.R.K number 7 by Yeye Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to support this channel by subscribing to it if you took something of value from this video. Enable all notifications by clicking on the bell. This way you never miss any of my future uploads, and I upload every single day. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed my video. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye.